All right, right on. Well, hey, SmithieD, thank you so much for tackling those questions. Now, those are all the questions that we scripted out and wanted to ask you for sure. Do you have some time right now that we could take some on-the-cuff questions for those ready, or do you need to get going?
No, that's cool.
All right. So the way we're going to do this, guys, I would like to hear questions on audio, and if you could all just okay, we've got one me, so get in line, and I'll go in order and just
go for it.
Indicate that you've got a question, and then I'll call on you, and then take your mic off mute and address the man himself. So I'm not sure how to pronounce your screen name here, Deflamen. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hey man, thanks for having the time to talk to us.
Yeah. Hey man.
I was thinking about the new game mode, and you saying like some real-time PvP. Personally, I don't think that's possible. I'm thinking more something more towards world boss. What's your thoughts on that?
I would say it would class as an event, and not a game mode. So the kind of like devs, Mario and Jesse, they specifically said that it's a new game mode. It's not a raid. It's not an event. So I can only kind of speculate on it because I don't know what it is for sure. Guild v Guild, I would say, is down the lines of being a event because you don't normally have a Guild v Guild running every single day continuously. And game modes, I would class guilds as being one game mode. That's a game mode. I would class the arena as another game mode. I would class Cantina, Lightside Battles, another game mode. Fleet, Galactic War, they're game modes. Imagine it's going to be something where you can use your entire roster. You could use your ships. They could build a game mode where it could potentially be just versus players in a guild and not be live. But I guess you've got to think big on these things and really put the devs to work on it and put that out there. That's what we want. And that is something that I personally do want. Not everybody wants it. I don't know why. But me personally, I feel that, it doesn't have to be reward based, because that then makes you forced to play that game mode. And you don't want that feeling that everyone's forced to play it. But I would rather it be there as a fun aspect that you can play it when you want, then add events into it. So you could then put live tournaments in it or completely change it up. But it may not be. But I think for a game like this, that would be where I would like to see this game ending up, where it's got something that Force Arena has, because that's live PvP.
All right, man.
All right, next up, Farth. Go ahead. Farth is typing the fastest he's typed in his life right now. All right. Which character would you like to see get a Zeta ability next?
Well, that's a tough one. I don't know. We've got Kyler that's got a Zeta. Barris has got a Zeta. Oh, it's such a tough one. So many characters that are in need of Zetas, but I'd probably go with Kit Fisto. I'd like to see Kit Fisto have a Zeta.
Right on.
Okay, I'd like to have V-Pad with Mace.
Okay, Sire, were you next?
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, hi. SmithieD, first off, I'm a huge fan. I'm subscribed to your YouTube channel. I've watched you practically every day, along with like Mobile Gamer and Warrior from Team Instinct. So even though I don't play as hardcore as like my other clanmates do, I do thoroughly enjoy the game. Like I watch Princess Zodi leads. I watch your videos. They're all phenomenal. Just saying. So I'm a huge fan over here. So when I first when Cub said that we were having a Q&A with you, I was just like, sorry, I was fangirling like crazy. I was like, oh man, YouTuber. I was like, oh shit. So my question for you is, given I'm a free-to-play player, even though I dabble sometimes buying crystals, but roughly I have about 3,000 crystals, and I have 3,000 crystals, and my question is it worth it to farm Death Trooper through the shard shop as well as through Cantina battles? Because right now, I think my short trooper is like level 6 at the moment, and I want to get him to 7 stars. Is it that a good opportunity to take before they take him and Krennic off the shard shop?
So with Death Trooper, you can currently get him from the Cantina.
Mm-hmm.
I I would get him from the Cantina. I wouldn't waste your charge shot currency, because if they're going to start adding characters to there, you may miss a golden opportunity to get your Nihilus to 7-star, and he could go onto a hard node. So I'd really save that for as an emergency to when you do see a character that's going to be unobtainable, kind of like base, where it's going to take you a year to finish him, especially on a free-to-play side. I wouldn't never farm somebody from there that you can get in another game mode with ease, even though it is on the highest kind of like tier of the Cantina and will take time, but that's what it is. It's a time element. But the difference between a month and a year is completely different. And I don't think Death Trooper's a massive difference. You could use him in raids. He still works in the arena at a 4-star, but I wouldn't waste the currency that you currently got on something that's obtainable. And I would wait for maybe a character like if they added Sith Assassin there and she was going into a hard node, then I'd probably say pick her up. You know, if you run in a Sith squad, and that's pretty much where you're going, but never go for a character you've got, or sorry, never go for a character that you can get, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Next question is coming in on text. Yoda Man would like to know, would Plo Koon with a Zeta potentially be a counter to Zeta Maul? And the logic behind it is because Plo Koon has that leader ability that has a stealth removal chance.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. To that, dependent is with the removal. The problem that you've got is kind of Zeta does, and it's going to remove the kind of like stealth, or if it's at 100%. Plo Koon is very kind of like hurt when it comes to Maul. Maul's just going to tear him to pieces as the character. So you've got a kind of thing where it won't be a counter, even though it's getting rid of it, because B2 can do the same job. He can get rid of it, and he can put buff immunity and dodge down on these characters, like evasion down, and put those kind of debuffs on it. But removing the stealth element is that they're going to go into stealth, and if it's at the start of every turn, he wouldn't be the meta changing, but it would be what you build around that team would be the meta changing. So that is kind of counter one meta, but then you'll see a rise of probably characters that are non-Maul. And you're probably then going to see like more rebels running around, more Vaders, and then you're back to diversity again, and then Maul won't really exist in the arena case. But I don't think it would do massive kind of things to it, because it still doesn't stop the evasion. You have to stop the evasion, because that's the biggest problem. It's not the stealth. That's in my theory anyway.
All right. Who's next in line? Is Cassian going to be available? Or viable? Okay, I was going to say he's available right now. Okay.
Yeah,
I think Cassian will be viable.
That needs to have the team around him. He works because he's got K2SO there, and you've got the gen lead. Outside of that, there will be other teams that he can go into, but he's probably not going to be as effective as another character that's got that synergy with that actual team. It's still early to say. Cassian, I'd still farm him because he's from the arena, unless you've got other things to farm from there. But it could be a long time until he's viable. Maybe if the rebels get Zeta'd, as it goes back to kind of like Biggs and Wedge. But I'd still farm him because it's an easy farmable area, and then gear him slowly.
Yeah, and I'd agree. I'm from a free-to-play standpoint, I pretty much have everyone in that arena shop, and I almost have Cassian to 7 stars without even thinking about it. So, at least worth the farm. Now, Roran, you're next. Can you jump on audio and ask your question, buddy?
Yep. My question is, so I always hear a lot about in ships, you want to spend your currency at the beginning when you're working up to Zeta Challenge, you want to spend your currency only on ships so that you can get that on farm. My question is, once you have it 3-starred and you have it on farm, where would you place the importance of ships, and where is the sweet spot that you want to stick around in ships while spending your currency on characters or on Zeta materials themselves?
In my opinion. Yeah, so what I did first off, I did my ships first. Everything went into my ships because it needs to, because there's some ships that you can only get from that area that you're going to need to unlock that Zeta challenge. I normally get probably about 4 to 5 Zetas a week. Good times I can get 7 to 8, and that's per week from the challenges. So I would then Zeta a few, maybe get about 80 Zetas from there. And then currently now, because the arena is getting more competitive, I've had to then switch and start getting more starships to make sure they're 7-star, because it's giving me more currency at the end of the day. More currency, better ships, and if any event comes out, I'm then ready for any event, any new content, instead of just going now leaving my ships at 5-star, because you're going to start dropping. So you have to find that balance of first looking after one side of the arena so you get your crystals, now looking on the other side of the arena so you're maintaining your leadership there, because there's no point doing all this work, getting all these ships to get into top 10 and then letting yourself drop because you want just lots of Zetas, because there's going to be a certain point where they could be farmable elsewhere. So they may not always be in there, but for now, it is the only place. So if they do come like Omegas and come a daily thing, you're then playing a kind of like catch-up in the arena. And it could be a very long time until you become top 10 again. So you have to find that balance. And if you feel that you are slipping on one side, you need to start investing in some ships, or even just going after the Slave One, the Scimitars, getting your TIE Fighters to 7-star, and then finding that balance where you're comfortable on one side that you now can take that time to start investing back into your ships.
All right. Ira wants to know what ships you're using in the arena right now. What are your favorite ships?
Tarkin lead. I use Biggs. I use TIE Fighter Pilot, First Order TIE Fighter Pilot, and Vader's TIE Advanced. And then on the bench, I have the Scimitar, followed by Sunfac, which I need to replace, and then followed by JC. Need to be placed. I'm kind of waiting for the Falcon to be farmable, so I can just kind of get rid of Sunfac, put the Falcon in, and then maybe another kind of like ship to go at the end. I normally use my ships and I use the basics. So if you are using Biggs and you're using TIE Fighters, always open using their basics. Never open using their specials, because you want to be going for that target lock straight away. And you don't need to kind of use the specials at all while Biggs is alive, because you want to be regaining his protection, and he will only regain it every time you put a target lock. And you can put target locks on characters, even if they've already got it, and it will heal Biggs. And the only way you're going to do that with those TIE Fighters is using the basics. I would only use the special if Biggs is in good health and I see it as a killable kill, that, okay, I can kill this ship if I use this special. If not, I'll use basics all day on those ships.
Speaking of ships, Farth wants to know how you feel about those Phoenix Squad ships that just came out.
Yeah, I've got a guy in the arena, actually, Mad Malgus, that actually has them, and the Ghost can crit for like 45k on an AoE. It's deadly to watch, but it's in the team. That's the only issue. That they're great. They're two great ships, to be honest. You know, even on defense, but it's what you've got really around them that's the issue. Those sort of ships, because they are powerful, but it kind of like lacks it in comparison to kind of like a Biggs' ship. It's definitely kind of like beatable. I fight him all the time in my arena, and I've never had any issues. But I do have 7-star ships. If I didn't have 7-star ships, then I would definitely struggle, because at the start, after a couple of like turns, the Ghost crits for like 45k, nearly kills my ships. So it can either go one way or the other at that point. But it's definitely, I kind of like abuse the kind of like Biggs tactic where I just use basic attacks to keep his protection regain, and that's how I win a lot of my matches in the arena.
Awesome. All right. Do we have any last questions? I think we're about wrapped up, but maybe we can take one or two more. I've got Farth feverishly typing again. Okay, what about Krennic and Death Trooper as viable in arena? And then also, we'll handle that one first, and then we got one for Mannequin Solo, and then I think we'll call it good.
Yeah. So Death Trooper in the arena. Maybe one day. The issue you've got with him is enough kind of like Empire characters that fits his build to make him viable. And for him to be viable, he has to have Death Trooper. If you're running without Death Trooper, then he's not viable at all. So I would, if you are going to run him, you have to have Death Trooper with him, or don't run him at all, in my opinion.
All right, and then Anakin Solo is wondering about Ayla and Barriss for a potential Jedi meta. I'm not sure what he means by potential Jedi meta, but I guess just a little discussion on those tunes.
Like a Jedi and Ayla, like if they got a Zeta.
That's what I would
referring to.
guess. That's what I would guess.
It could happen. It just depends what characters they bring out to support him and what Zetas they give him. I would imagine that Anakin would have a increased damage on his AoE because that's where he's got the kind of like place to give him the Zeta. But the issue that you've got with that into the crit immunity, so he needs something that's going to stop him, that he can just kind of like punch through crits, or he's going to have a Qui-Gon Jinn lead. And days as well from Maul. So there has to be some aspect or element put into it that's going to make it viable. I think the day would come, but again, you'd have to have no Zeta Maul running around in the arena, and you'd have to have something that counters that from a Zeta Maul, because days just completely ruins both Ayla and Anakin.
All right. Well, hey, SmithieD, you are the man. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking to us again. I think, like you heard, we're all pretty big fans of what you do. I love your videos, and if all of you listening, if you haven't checked out SmithieD's videos yet, you're not doing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes right. You need to check it out. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Check out the videos, comment, and SmithieD, again, thank you very much. Would you come back and be our friend again in a few months?
Thanks, bro. Yeah, man, of course.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time. I'll shoot you a message sometime, see if we can't do this again when we've got that meta shift to Jedi.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Oh, buddy, thanks for having me.
You bet. Have a good one.